What's up, guys? It's Vigorous Steve, and instead of the Vigorous Q&A, we're going to review some blood work results and a food allergy test, which I did last, what was it, Sunday, so that's January 5th. And I posted some of the results of the food allergy test on Instagram already, and I got maybe 200, 300 DMs about where did you do that? Why were the results like this, etc., etc., etc. So there were a lot of questions that I didn't feel the need to answer or didn't have the time to answer through Instagram direct messages. So I figured might as well go live and answer it here publicly. Before we do, let me put on the glasses so you know it's serious. And let's roll the disclaimer so I can say whatever I want and not get demonetized. Hope you caught that. It was super, super fast. Okay. So let's start with a little bit of a backstory. For when did I go back on cycle? I think it was uh, 8 months, 8 months on cycle, or 8 months back on anabolic androgenic steroids after being off for about 1 year to restore my fertility parameters and get my wife pregnant. And before you ask, yes, I was able to get my wife pregnant. Luckily, see that the internet is a little bit slow, so let me remove the overlay for now. Fingers crossed it's going to be a little bit better going forward. So I was able to get my wife pregnant, so that chapter of my life is closed. She's about 17 weeks in now, so we're expecting sometime middle of this year. And after we decided to do IVF because we couldn't conceive naturally after trying for 1 year, so we decided to go IVF. After going the IVF route, I decided to go back on cycle and have been slowly escalating my steroid dosages upwards. And then I think around the time that I went to the United States for the Mr. Olympia, I started getting some digestive issues. And when I say digestive issues, major digestive issues. Now, I probably had some digestive issues before I went to the United States, but because here in Thailand, I basically eat the same thing every single day besides Sunday when I go out with a nice meal with my wife. And even then, it's pretty reserved. Maybe one chocolate lava cake or something like that, maybe one muffin, maybe one cheesecake. Not in total, that's just once per Sunday. I choose one dessert and then maybe some snacks at home. It's still reasonably, benign, reasonably vanilla, maybe some sourdough bread, whoop-de-doo. It's not very exciting. So when I go on holiday, whether that was the United States or Holland or Dubai or the UK and recently New Zealand, where I was for Christmas, everything goes. So I eat whatever I want. I don't consider myself a bodybuilder, even though I might go to the gym. I do the seafood diet. I basically seafood and I eat it if I feel the need to eat it. To the dismay of my stomach, because when you have a food allergy or some issues with your digestive tract, some foods don't sit well with you. So I had major digestive issues in the United States, a little bit of digestive issues when I was in Dubai and the Netherlands, major in the UK. I went to the Netherlands again after the UK for the Enhanced Game seminar. And then when I was in New Zealand, let's not get started. My stomach was literally here. Yeah. Not a good idea. So when I came back from New Zealand, luckily I flew business, and of course the food in business class is absolutely phenomenal. So I ate that too, and I was even more bloated by the time I was at passport control here in Thailand. Never going to do that again. So by the time January 1st came around, I did a 4-day fast. I didn't eat anything. So basically the first 4 days of this year, I fasted. Basically a raw dog fast. So no supplements, no fat burners, no growth hormone, no injectables. Nothing, just water and coffee. Then I broke fast Saturday evening with a little bit of salmon and chia seeds, and my digestion was a little bit off. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna need to do this food allergy test now, not the weekend after, because I intended to fast for 2 weeks. Um, but that can also affect the results of your food allergy test. So I figured, 4 days is not enough to have a negative effect on your food allergy test. And of course, I would also wanted to do a stool examination, which I'll do this Sunday. So that's a week after the food allergy test. Now, I got the food allergy testing results back. I got the blood work results back. So we're going to discuss that in this video. Again, the stool examination I need to do this Sunday. I want to fast this week as well, but after I read the instructions, they basically told me that you need to eat like normal food for 5 to 6 days. I do two separate stool tests. One is very extensive, that takes about 3 weeks to get back, and the other one is pretty easy. They told me not to eat any beef or liver or pork So there's no blood in that stool, which can offset a negative effect on the stool results, indicating that there might be some blood or certain bacteria present. Because again, when you eat steak, I mean, if you eat that well done, you're basically a murderer of the steak. Right? It should be medium rare. That's how I have my steak every single day. So I've been eating my regular food, or at least the food that was not present on the food allergy testing results. So I removed all of those foods. Then I've been eating whatever I could digest, which is going well to this point. And then the last 3 days, so that's basically yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then I'll do the food allergy test or the stool examination without any steak and pork, or beef liver, that kind of stuff, to make sure that that stool examination has a good result. And then I'll do another stool examination a little bit later. A word and mouthful. Yes. So without further ado, let's go into a little bit of the protocol. Let's see if I can add this here at the stage. So this is my screen. Let's first get started with the script. Yes, I have a script. Now, for you guys that remember the previous blood work results of Operation Gyno, this is basically the last episode in Operation Gyno. My gyno has now grown to the size I can surgically have it removed. That happens next week, Tuesday. But let's first go over a little bit of the previous stuff that I was doing up until the holiday, after which I decided to throw in the towel. Previous workout split was this: Monday chest, Tuesday quads, Wednesday rest, then Thursday again chest, Friday quads, Saturday rest, and Sunday rest with a refeed and a cheat meal, to the dismay of my intestinal tract. And the current workout split is basically daily fasted cardio, 30 minutes on the elliptical, and no training. Absolutely great. So the reason why I don't do any training currently is because, well, I know that the gynecomastia surgery is coming up. I know that I was going on holiday, so I didn't really want to train on holiday, because when I go to New Zealand meeting my best friend, it's usually combined with copious amounts of alcohol and cigars, which we cleared many a bottle of wine and a couple bottles of whiskey and a couple cigars. So what's the point in training when you're there? And again, so I took maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks off until now, and then I'll have a couple more days off until the gynecomastia surgery. And then after that, I'll take 2 weeks off, at least for upper body, right? Because my whole upper body will be immobilized. And then after that, maybe I can, kind of start training legs again. Let's see. So I've been doing my daily fasted cardio, but I haven't really gone to the gym, and still pretty swole. Sorry for all these cuts. I did the body hair trimming. So a lot of violence took place today regarding the body hair. That's why I appear so smooth. Oh yeah, everywhere. Yeah, don't ask. This is the only hair I have. Too many details. All right, let's share the screen some more. Where are we? Okay, so let's go over the diet. First, the diet that I was following. Now that's not here. Oh, where's the diet? 1 second. That's the fun thing of being live. Shit can go wrong. And you can't censor yourself. Oh, maybe this picture is not really, really good. Okay, let's give it a try. 1 second, guys. Okay, so this is the diet. And you see here that meal 1 was basically egg whites, whole eggs, kale, green beans, sauerkraut, extra virgin olive oil cooking spray, which I put on the sauerkraut, or I'll put on the kale and the green beans to kind of make that crispy in the air fryer. Then 60 grams of mixed nuts, almonds, cashews, walnuts, a couple of different seeds, and then 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and a boatload of sodium to wash it all down, even though the sauerkraut also has a good amount of sodium. Then I would work out if I would work out in the morning, but sometimes I would work out in the evening. So I would have meal 2 was 250 grams of chicken, kale, green beans, sauerkraut, and basically mixed nuts, extra virgin olive oil, chia seeds. Again, pretty much the same for meal 3. Meal 4 was salmon, kimchi, mixed nuts, blueberries, and then some chicken, beef, and whole eggs and whole avocado, and more sauerkraut before bed, for a total of 420 grams of protein, 130 grams of carbs, of which 95 grams of fiber, and about 270 grams of fats. 4,600 calories. Sometimes it was 5,000 calories. I ended up at 120 kilos. Now, these pictures, I think I'm 115 kilos, but by the time my off season was done, these are not the pictures of my end of my off season. I was 120 kilos and it was highly uncomfortable, especially dealing with those digestive issues. So this is the front double bicep and this is the back double bicep. You see that my lower back is completely glazed over. My hamstrings are soft. My glutes are soft. Not much definition even in the arms. So let's go back to the front double bicep, which is not as bad as the back double bicep. So that's basically what I looked like, maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit fluffier. And then obviously after holiday, well, you don't want to see those results because after holiday, everything goes. I do have a couple pictures that I can show. So this is on holiday in New Zealand. Here you see that my face is nice and round. I met my wife having fun in, this is Taupo, New Zealand, if I pronounce that correctly. This is me swimming in the lake, basically a big beached white whale. This is me swimming. Of course, this is slightly embarrassing, but yeah, very slippery on the corners there. And I actually hit my foot on one of the rocks when I was swimming. And you can see that later on the blood work results because my D-dimer levels are slightly elevated. Yeah, some more swimming. Boom, sinking like a brick. And some more round face pictures, me and my wife. Oh, yeah, and of course the Primo chocolate, which I did not buy because, well, the chocolate milk is not something I enjoy. Let's see. This was the redwood in Rotorua, if I pronounce it correctly. So again, more round faces, more front double biceps. My wife looking sexy as hell, and more front double biceps, more lower chin and round faces. Here's a back shot of me in front of Mount Doom. And here you can actually see that I have some major digestion. So we only had breakfast that day, and then we drove back in New Zealand. And then here you see that my stomach is bloated AF. I was basically bloated AF the entire way through. It was more bloated than my wifey's boobs, which we'll get into a little bit later on when you see her estradiol levels, Mount Doom, etc. Okay, so let's go back to this a little bit. What else is on the menu? Oh yeah, the food allergy testing results. So let's go there. These are actually quite interesting. So this is the overall testing results. I can't zoom in, apparently. Okay, unfortunately. Edit. Never mind. 1 second, guys. Food allergy. All right, here. So I did this food allergy test. It was about 20,000 baht. So that's about $6,000, give or take. Checking 232 food allergies with immunoglobulin through a blood work analysis. It's not super accurate. It doesn't separate if you have a food allergy or food sensitivity to cooked food or raw food. So with these egg whites, for example, these chicken egg whites, it doesn't discriminate whether those are raw or cooked egg whites. Now, of course, I always have my egg whites cooked. I did a stint in the past where I had my egg whites raw. Great digestion back in the day until I got salmonella food poisoning. So let's not try that again. So here you see a class 4 very strong reaction. Consider food elimination for 3 months, which I will certainly do. Yogurt, cow's milk, pistachios, Hokkaido pumpkin, elemental cheese, egg whites, wheat flour, cashew nuts, processed cheese, and casein. So basically, I have some probiotic yogurts over the weekend usually. Egg whites every day. Over the weekend, I have some wheat flour. Cashew nuts I would have every day. Pistachios I would have every day. And when you look at class 3, a strong reaction, consider reducing or eliminating this food for a 3-month rotation diet. Let's see, mozzarella, soybeans, almonds I would have every single day. Camembert, maybe sometimes over the weekend. Beta-lactoglobulin coming from cow's milk. So if you eliminate cow's milk, you also eliminate beta-lactoglobulin. Butter, which I would have over the weekend alongside my steak. Or maybe sometimes you buy some bread and there's butter contained within, right? What is it called? The name eludes me now. Fuck. I should know this word. Croissant. Croissant. Yeah, that has butter in it. That's all wheat flour and butter, right? Different layers, like a samurai sword. Gluten, obviously, well, the most breads are gluten. Brazil nuts, which I would have every day. Spelt flour, maybe over the weekend, and rye flour. So all the good stuff, basically, that I was eating, all the good stuff in my diet. Yeah, egg whites every day. Mixed nuts, almonds and cashews, also on the list. Mixed nuts, almonds and cashew, meal two. Same with meal three. Meal four again, meal five again, and then two whole eggs, which also contain egg whites. So basically, every single meal of the day, I had food that I shouldn't be eating. No wonder I felt like shit. No wonder my stomach was so digested. No wonder I had acid reflux. No wonder I wanted to skip training every single day because my stomach was so bloated. So, yeah, thank God I did this food allergy test because it pieced a lot of things together for me. And I'm sure when I do the stool examination, I'll get more of a result. So let's go over the entire food allergy test. This is page 1. So you see here wheat flour, a strong reaction over 50, which is the blood work results basically. And then gluten, spelt flour, rye flour, also a strong reaction. Durum wheat flour, which I've never heard about. And then I should be able to take barley flour or oat bran, but you know, oat bran, what is it? Special K Kellogg's cereal. Yeah, doesn't really taste great. Tastes like cardboard. So luckily I can have quinoa, rice, millet, corn, buckwheat flour, and amaranth. Maybe rice and quinoa, but for now I just want to follow a ketogenic diet and stay low carbs. Legumes, I have to avoid soybeans, but peanuts, apparently, even though peanut is not classified here, that's classified under the nuts, which is incorrect. Peas are okay, and peanuts are, oh, that has a medium reaction. And anyway, I have to avoid pistachios, cashew nuts, and almonds, which you can see here, and Brazil nuts. I was eating all of that every single day, almost every meal. Walnuts I can have in a small amount. And then macadamia nuts, pine nuts, sunflower seeds, flaxseed I will skip because of the lignans or androgen receptors inhibitors. So we're not going to have that. So I'll limit myself to small servings of walnuts and then a good amount of macadamia nuts, pine nuts, sunflower seeds. Let's see. Chia seeds I will avoid because, again, I reintroduced chia seeds twice already, and every time my stomach felt a little bit weird. So even though in this food allergy test it says that chia seeds is approved, from my personal experience, knowing that my digestion does react to chia seeds now, I'm just going to skip it for 3 to 6 months and then see what happens, which sucks because, well, I had chia seeds with every single meal, and it's a good amount of micronutrients, good amount of fiber, and some building blocks for omega-3s, right? ALA. All the fruits are approved, so I can still have banana, I can still have apple, peach. I love peach. If you know, you know. Grapefruit, also love grapefruit. If you know, you know. Plum, pear, right? All the fruits are still approved, so I will proceed with the fruits. Here, cantaloupe, melon. I also have melon seeds, great addition, high in protein. So that's all good. Vegetables, I'm basically all okay besides Hokkaido pumpkin. That sounds very expensive. Special pumpkin coming from Hokkaido, Japan, with a 200% import taxes and transition or transport cost. It's probably too much. So, well, I can have my my cabbage, even though it's not FODMAP approved. I can have my bell peppers. I can have my eggplant, which I'm trying to grow. Aren't we all? Let's see, olives. Onion I will avoid because it's FODMAP food. Cucumber I will have every single day. It's part of a salad, celery, all that good stuff. That's all approved. And then the dairy products like yogurt, chicken egg white, cow's milk, processed cheese, elemental cheese, casein, and mozzarella and camembert. Basically all the tasty stuff that you would have with wine, I can't have. No butter, egg yolk should be okay, kefir. Yeah, I can have cottage cheese, which is weird because they say cottage cheese is approved, but cottage cheese is full with casein protein. So maybe I can't have hydrolyzed casein protein, but cottage cheese is okay. Now, all the meats are okay. All right, so you can have some turkey, you can have some chicken, you can have some beef, you can have some pork tenderloin if I want, some ostrich, some duck, maybe in a blue moon if I'm in China. Fish is all okay. Sea bass, salmon, cod. There's tuna in here. Tuna is in here. Even crab, shrimp, I'm sure is okay, right? So all the protein sources are still okay, and all the herbs and spices are still okay as well. So I can add herbs and spices to my Heart's Desire. Any other pages? Cayenne pepper. Oh man, you can't live without that. Can't live without saffron or saffron extract. Good for mood. And then miscellaneous. Cacao beans. I have to go easy on. Rapeseed. Okay, still good. Black tea, coffee, honey, safflower oil, which I'm not injecting. Underground Labs used to use safflower oil for their brews, and unfortunately, they don't mention whiskey, wine, that kind of stuff. So I guess I'm going to have to avoid that too. Okay, where are we now? What is next on the menu? Okay, so regarding the stool examination, I will do that next Sunday. And then C, the first one, the easy one, where I just have to avoid the beef and the beef liver and the pork tenderloin, any food source that could potentially contain a little bit of blood. So in case I have intestinal issues like bleeding, for example, they'll be able to determine that the fragments or the residue of blood in stool, right, stool occult blood, is coming from me and not from the food that I ate. So that test will come back in a couple of days. And then the really big one, the giant one, where they test literally everything, that will take about 3 weeks. So I'll make an update video when I get those results. But until that time, I will just follow the guidelines of this food allergy test. No, not this one. Wait. Yamete, guys. Hold on. All right, this one. So I will just eliminate all of this food. No more egg whites for me. No more bread, any kinds of bread, even sourdough bread, even though I love sourdough bread or potato bread or, yeah, sweet potato bread. My God, man. Oh, the best. But you can't risk it because other people make it for you, and it could mean that it has wheat or gluten or something else. So no bread, no eggs, no cheese. And that's all the good stuff, man. Fuck my life. No pistachio nuts, no cashew nuts, no almonds, no butter, no Brazil nuts. Yeah, it sucks, but it has to be done. You know, it's funny. When I went to New Zealand, I stopped all over-the-counter supplements because, well, New Zealand is a little bit strict when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I didn't want to declare that I have like a boatload laundry list of supplements with me, and then explain what every supplement does, and then wonder if it's even importable into New Zealand. So I stopped all supplements for about 10 days. Didn't notice a difference in my digestion. And then I stopped them while I was fasting, didn't notice a difference in my digestion. But then as soon as the fasting was over and did my blood work, I reintroduced the supplements. And then I didn't have any issues anymore. So maybe I just needed to stop eating for 4 days. But I've done a fast many times already while I was suffering from these digestive issues. And then every time while I was fasting, no digestive issues, obviously, because there's nothing to digest. Even when I was supplementing with the regular supplements I would take and taking fat burners to help speed up the fat loss process while fasting, being in the most caloric deficit state that you could possibly be in. And yeah, so I reintroduced all of the supplements. Maybe you can go over that right now. Let's see. So here are the over-the-counter supplements. I take Grillamide Elite Multivitamin, 1 tablet with breakfast and dinner, so that's 2 tablets in total, even though the formula is 3 tablets per day. My diet is reasonably nutritious, so I don't need to take so much extra multivitamins to get all of my micronutrients in. I do take extra B vitamins, so I take a B50 complex morning and evening, so that's basically B100 complex. I take vitamin C, ester C with citrus bioflavonoids, seems to be a little bit better for antioxidant status, up to 5,000 milligrams daily. So that's 1,000 milligrams for with meals. Let's see, vitamin D, 5,000 IUs with dinner. I take Gamma E, which is basically tocopherols, but it also has some tocotrienols. 1 capsule in the morning, so that's about, and 1 capsule in the evening. But I had to stop that for now because I'm going in for surgery next week, Tuesday. You should take fish oil and vitamin E and a couple of these vitamins. So I'll discontinue. I discontinued that already, and I'll discontinue a couple other ones basically over the weekend. So I have a couple days to clear that out, so it doesn't interfere with the surgery and the recovery process. Gero Formulas K-Rite, I would take 1 in the morning, so that it contains 2,000 IUs vitamin D3, 5,000 micrograms vitamin K1, 1,500 micrograms vitamin K2, 180 micrograms vitamin K2, and K7. With breakfast, I take that, let's see, zinc glycinate, 1,000 milligrams daily. zinc L-carnosine complex, one capsule in the morning and one capsule in the evening. That's a zinc formula that it works better for the immune system and the intestinal tract. So I switched from zinc glycinate, zinc picolinate to zinc L-carnosine complex. And well, so far so good. But again, I made a lot of changes. So that's basically what I've been doing. And it's contributing to the positive results. Taurine, double strength, 1,000 milligrams with meals, 5,000 milligrams daily. I was taking Grillamide, H&B calcium, 1,000 milligrams with meals, up to 5,000 milligrams daily. When that runs out, it runs out, and I might reintroduce that when my training capacity is at the highest level, because it does help with soreness prevention. But if I'm not really going to the gym, then I have no soreness to prevent. The reason why I'm taking it right now is to prevent muscle loss. Where you're not training, this has actually been shown scientifically to prevent muscle loss alongside or just like creatine. So I might have to throw in some creatine as well. Creatine and calcium, beta-hydroxy beta-methylbutyrate, or free-form beta-hydroxy methylbutyrate, the free acids that have been shown to prevent muscle loss after surgery or in sedentary states. Let's see, nicotinoid mononucleotide, 875 milligrams daily, N-acetylcysteine, 1,000 milligrams breakfast and dinner, so that's 2,000 milligrams daily. I take the Grillamide fish oil, 5 capsules per day, so that's 3,120 milligrams EPA and 2,080 milligrams DHA daily. But again, I stopped that for now so it doesn't interfere with the surgery and cause massive amounts of internal hemorrhaging. After they cut me open and take the gyno out, because again, fish oil and vitamin E have blood thinning effects. So instead of taking aspirin, you take vitamin E and fish oil, and then you don't dissolve your stomach lining. And you need to take copious amounts of glutamine, because that's a side effect of baby aspirin. Citrus bergamot, 500 milligrams with breakfast and dinner, 1,000 milligrams total. Berberine, I would take with breakfast and dinner, but I only took that on Sunday and after coming back from New Zealand to kind of restore insulin sensitivity after, well, eating too much food that I shouldn't be eating. Curcumin C3 complex, I discontinued already because it might interfere with surgery, but I was taking 500 milligrams with dinner daily. Astragalus root extract, 3,750 milligrams daily, 750 milligrams with meal for kidney health. I was reintroduced black currant oil, just to kind of help with acne, skin complexion, the recovery of the surgery. So I will keep that in. Good amount of gamma-linoleic acid and alpha-linoleic acid. Gamma-linoleic acid and alpha-linoleic acid. So many acids on the planet, some of which you better off microdosing. Biquinol, 200 milligrams per day. PQQ, pyrroloquinone, quinone. Yes, it rolls off the tongue right now, 40 milligrams per day. Tatka, from a source that we shouldn't name, so it's abbreviated. We'll see a lot of abbreviations going forward. 250 milligrams per meal, so that's about 1,200 milligrams daily. Oregano oil, 1 capsule with dinner. Not total 2 capsules per day, so just 1 capsule with dinner now. First, I did 2 capsules per day because I was suspecting that I had candida overgrowth. Oregano oil is actually very good to prevent candida overgrowth. But again, the stool examination would have to determine if I actually have candida. That's something I was just suspecting. But after introducing the oregano oil, I felt that my bloating and my overall intestinal issues were a little bit less. So I'm going to keep that in at 1 capsule per day. But that's actually 180 milligrams oregano oil daily. So we're going to do, there you go, a little bit of adjustment, and then I take melatonin as needed. All right. The steroid protocol. Well, we discussed this a million times before, so we're just going to go over it very briefly. The Operation Gyno protocol ended up being 500 milligrams testosterone enanthate per week, 500 milligrams nandrolone canoate per week, 150 milligrams testosterone acetate per week, 200 milligrams oxymetholone androl per week, and 210 milligrams YK11 per week, which I just recorded the YK11 deep dive because you guys were complaining. So that will drop next week. Yay! I would take the anadrol and YK11 sublingually for a total steroid intake of 1,560 milligrams weekly, but I stopped that cycle basically a week after the latest video, or right after, because I was so heavy and I felt very uncomfortable and was like, what's the fucking point of taking all of these steroids when you can't digest the food and thus you can't grow? DHEA, HCG, growth hormone, Increlex, injectable L-carnitine, glutathione. Well, the list is long. SLU, PP332, MOTS, coenzyme Q10, injectable data, diisopropylamine dichloroacetate. Great pre-workout. Holy moly, phenomenal workouts. Joints of steel, and then a boatload of ancillaries. Well, it's all on the screen. Right, I would do some experiments with the sources that can't be named. So all the pharmaceutical brands are on the screen, and the other ones are abbreviated to MA, AA, or BP, or GO. I guess you're going to have to piece it out together yourself. So let's go over to the current protocol that I've been doing since 1 week or 2 weeks before I went to New Zealand. 300 milligrams testosterone enanthate and 200 milligrams testosterone propionate, because Aaron gave me all of his remaining PEDs. And I have a buttload of stuff in my steroid drawer that I need to finish. So I was like, oh, I got some testosterone propionate. Might as well mix that with the testosterone enanthate. And then get a little bit of dual action, inject, what did I do? 1.3 cc's Monday, Wednesday, Friday of this blend for total steroid intake of 500 milligrams weekly. DHA was still the same. I stopped the HCG already because my wife is pregnant, so what's the fucking point? I stopped the growth hormone already, which I'll reintroduce. I stopped the Increlex already because I'm not really training. Injectable carnitine I will do one time per day before fasted cardio. The glutathione I will continue, but I might stop that for 1 or 2 weeks after surgery because it might interfere with the recovery process. I'll have to do a little bit more research. The SLU PP332 I will continue just to help keep me lean and help with my energy levels. As you can tell from the fastness of how I'm talking. MOTS, I'm still continuing 1 milligram sub-Q upon waking daily now. T4 I'm taking because I'm reintroducing the growth hormone a little bit later on. The blood pressure medication, Mycardis, I will continue to take even though I'll have to discontinue that because it might interfere with the surgery. Ezetimibe, I might take out. The fluvoxamine is still there. The methylene blue is still there, which I might take out. Nootropics as needed. And then I recently added in oral BPC 157, 500 micrograms with meals. Let me write that down correctly, not milligrams, micrograms. For a total of 2,000 micrograms daily. And KPV, which is lysine, proline, valine tripeptide, also helps with intestinal health. And then I also take a good amount of glutamine with every meal, maybe 2 grams. So that's a little half a teaspoon that I just slam with meals to get a little bit of additional glutamine in. And this combination of oral BPC 157, oral KPV, and oral glutamine, man, the hunger that you get from that, holy moly. It's like all the intestinal inflammation is gone now. My intestinal tract can finally process food. And when I eat a meal, it just falls through. It falls through like you would expect from copious amounts of T3, which I'm not on, or I can't remember that I'm taking copious amounts of T3. Otherwise, it would be way smaller than this, obviously. So the BPC 157 KPV glutamine together, appetite galore, which sucks because I do want to get a little bit leaner again. And I don't do so much activity, so I shouldn't be eating so much. And then after the gyno surgery, I will add in a little bit of oxandrolone, 20 milligrams per day, reintroduce the growth hormone, 5 IU sub-Q before bed daily. I will, besides the oral BPC 157, I will do injectable BPC 157. So that's half a milligram subcutaneous morning and evening around the site of the issue or the sites of the surgery. Same for thymosin beta-4. I don't have a TB500. I have actual thymosin beta-4, which has a lot more scientific evidence behind it than TB500. So you use what you can get, right? Half a milligram subcutaneous morning and evening. So split up the dose with BPC 157 and TB5 or thymosin beta-4 just to get a longer lasting and a more anti-inflammatory and recovery promoting effect, because both of these peptides seems to metabolize quite rapidly. And I might throw in a dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor to prevent the breakdown of BPC 157, thymosin beta-4, insulin, IGF-1, etc. But I'll do it without it for the first 2 weeks because, again, I don't exactly know how dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors interfere post-surgery. And I'll use some GHK copper, 1 milligram subcutaneous morning and evening, total 2 milligrams daily. And if that causes too much injection pain, then I will go with topical palmitate GHK instead at 5 milligrams topically twice per day, right? GHK copper helps tremendously with collagen synthesis. Again, I'll take all of the collagen protein sources that you can get. You know, Gorilla Mind is a great formula with vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, collagen type 1, 2, and 3. So I'll probably go with that. Maybe 5-gram servings with meal for a total of 20 to 25 grams over the day, alongside of all the protein that I'm eating. So that's basically the protocol in the past up until now. So you know exactly how that could interfere and affect my blood work results. So let's see. Let's see in the chat if everything is still going well. Let's see. All right, nobody's complaining. Roman is in the house. Really? Roman Fritz. What's up, bro? So I contacted Evan Centopani and he never got back to me. So I'll contact him again because it's been over a year since we did our podcast. And if Evan doesn't reply, then it's just me and Roman Fritz, and we'll talk some more cool stuff. Okay, let's see. Where were we? We're going to do the blood work finally. So the pictures I can remove. The script I still need to keep, and then we'll go. Okay, we'll go into the blood work. Let's see. Not the previous blood work. Oh, guys, this is my first live stream doing blood work. Okay. All right, here we are. There's so much I have to say. So little time. Okay. Here are the blood work results from last Sunday. I cropped off my name and removed all the unnecessary details so you could just see the results. And I had to do a little bit of photoshopping, basically using MS Paint to kind of put everything together, because Bria Labs, when you get the blood work results from the guys that live in Thailand, you know that it's a giant mess when you get those results in. So I had to group everything and piece it together so it's a little bit easier to see. Otherwise, I would show you guys this. Basically the before and after, which I usually use, and it's a little bit more insightful. So let's see, we might refer to these blood work results when we go forward. So these are from the past. These are from October 26th, November 24th, and these are from January, what was it, 5th? January 5th. Okay. So I drank about 1.5 liters of water, had a cup of coffee. Still, my specific gravity is 1.12, so I was not 100% hydrated. Could have drank a little bit more water, but this is the best we can do. You see here my complete blood count, that my hemoglobin and hematocrit is sky freaking high. Now, I'm not alarmed by this. Again, I removed the methylene blue, I removed the telmisartan. I was fasting for a while, I was traveling, and I was dehydrated. So all these things can affect your red blood cell count, hematocrit, and hemoglobin up and down. And I think coming off the cycle and switching into a more than generous TRT protocol, basically TRT for bodybuilders being 2 ampules, well, not ampules, but 2 servings of testosterone per week, right? Enough TRT for 3 people into 1, but I have enough muscularity for 3 people. Here's the proof. So switching from that cycle of about 1.5 grams to 500 milligrams per week, maybe you get some, red blood cell destruction. As you can see, red blood cell count is, let's see, where was it previously? 0. Okay, so it went up actually. Yeah, it did go up. Okay, so you get some red blood cell destruction, and that's why the hemoglobin goes up, because that's contained within the red blood cells, but the red blood cells were still high, and my hematocrit slightly elevated. I don't see a reason to donate. Again, my dosages are going to stay low going forward. I reintroduced the methylene blue and the telmisartan, which should lower my hematocrit and red blood cell count over time. Everything else is pretty normal. White blood cell count is about 6,000, so that's normal. And everything else looks normal here. Now we get into the blood chemistry. Blood sugar, slightly below the reference range. Could be, they adjust that. It used to be 70 to 100. Now it's 74 to 100. Oh, Thailand is slowly catching up to diabetes. That's why they keep changing the reference range. So blood sugar 69. If you know, you know. I might have been busy the day before. And that's good for your insulin sensitivity. Also for your tip sensitivity. Creatinine 1.36. I've had worse. Uric acid, nice and low. I would expect this to be higher after fasting, but then again, fasting doesn't really increase my uric acid levels. So I'm not in that much autophagy after all. Creatine phosphokinase still slightly elevated. Could be from climbing all those mountains in New Zealand. Could be from the daily fasted cardio. In the past, let's see, it was 2,260. I've seen it up as high as 5,000 units per liter. So I would say that this is a normal decline after not training for a while, but still doing daily fasted cardio. Lactose dehydrogenase is within range, so again, no muscular damage there. C-reactive protein is low, 0.9 milligrams per liter, which, yeah, was enough time after the last cigar and the blood work results, which is 6 days. The last cigar and the blood work results is 6 days. And when you smoke a cigar the next day, your high sensitivity C-reactive protein is like 5, 6, 7, depending on how big and thick and juicy the cigar was. But I guess this is enough time to bring inflammatory markers down. Again, like I mentioned before, you see the D-dimer is slightly elevated because I hit my feet on a rock when I was swimming in one of the rivers leading into Lake Taupo. And that's the reason why, because I scratched it pretty bad, pretty heavy bleeding, a slight irritation, but no infection, so no need for antibiotics. But yeah, it was pretty painful and bleeding up a storm. Even though I did discontinue the Tomasartan and the fish oil and the vitamin E. Maybe it's all that wine that was diluting my blood. Serum electrolytes, all pretty normal. I did random electrolytes in urine because, oh, might as well while you're there. I don't see a reference range here, so I guess these are all normal results. Might have to eat my words a little bit later on. I didn't really look at this blood work result yet because at first glance it was all pretty normal. Okay, lipids, cholesterol is low. Triglycerides are reasonably low. HDL is still a little bit on the low side, but coming up compared to the last time. I mean, last time it was 28, 29 on that cycle of 1500 milligrams steroids combined, and on 500 test now it's 46. But then again, I was fasting. I did not take ezetimibe during this period. I did not eat any food containing cholesterol, so that's why my LDL cholesterol looks like it's on ezetimibe, but I didn't take ezetimibe. I did take steroids, but I didn't eat any food, and that also lowers your cholesterol. Hope it makes sense. Liver enzymes still slightly elevated. AST is 76, but ALT is in range. So is that comparable to the previous results? Actually, it's a little bit worse. Wow. Must be all that wine that I had. It's about the same. 76, 52. So normally after not training hard for a while and then, taking off from PEDs and then ancillaries and that kind of stuff and not eating for a while, I would expect these ALT and AST liver enzymes to be, let's say, about half. But now they're still comparable to being on cycle. So they were probably higher after I came back from New Zealand from, well, drinking all the food, drinking all the wine and the whiskey and eating whatever, smoking some cigars and maybe from climbing mountains and stuff, CPK and LDH and liver enzymes went up slightly because all of these enzymes are also found in skeletal muscle. So I need to do better. Yeah. I need to do better. Maybe we can get this done over the next couple of weeks, but after surgery, it might go up, and then, you have antibiotics and maybe some painkillers. So it's probably going to stay slightly elevated. What I am wondering is after eliminating all of those foods that were upsetting my stomach so much, if I can reset my liver enzymes to a point that they're a little bit lower than they are for the last couple of years. Because if I had this food allergy of egg whites and almonds and cashews and whatnot that I literally had every fucking meal, or the chia seeds, for example, that I literally had every single meal, if I remove all of those foods that were causing me digestive issues, is that going to lower my liver enzyme levels? Fingers crossed. That will be good. But no indication of real liver issues because all the other markers are normal. Let's see. These are cardiac markers, still elevated. Thank you very much, Pfizer. Well, unfortunately, I didn't want to do it, but, well, I had to take 2 vaxes back in the day, which I still regret to this day. So here you can see CKMB is elevated, high sensitivity C-reactive or high sensitivity troponin T level is elevated. This basically means that a part of my heart is not getting enough oxygen. That's why this is slightly elevated. I can't see anything on an ultrasound. I can't see anything on an electrocardiogram or an echocardiogram or an MRI or CT scan. On all of those results, my cardiac function looks normal. But pre-vax and post-vax, these are the results. And I'm not the only one who has that, but I'm the only one who talks about that publicly. And again, if I had a time machine, I wish I didn't do it. But when you hear whispers that a vax is required for a visa and you need 2 vaxes, then, well, you have to bite the bullet, which I did. Well, hindsight, right? Check my, what is this? My clotting factor. So that's the thrombin time, partial or thromboplastin time, thrombin time, and fibrinogen levels. So that's all within normal parameters. You see that my PTT I think that's partial thromboplastin time is slightly elevated. I've seen it slightly elevated previously. I just always check these markers before I do surgery just to make sure that there's no issues there. Like if these were off, I would postpone the surgery, obviously, because then you might bleed out internally or it's not going to recover properly. But now that my platelets are in range, my red blood cell count is not too elevated, and these clotting factors are all normal, and I'm taking vitamin D, vitamin K, and all that good stuff. I'm eating healthy, plenty of collagen in my diet. Then I feel comfortable going in for surgery. Hormone levels. So you might remember that on the previous cycle, and I discussed this in the YK11 deep dive, this was this before? Yeah, I think this was before. So on October 26th, that was before adding in the YK11. My serum estradiol was 130. Then after adding in the YK11, but also anadrol and DHT cream, which I applied topically on the eggplant, which did work, my serum estradiol was 105 picograms per milliliter. Now, the topical DHT might go systemic and then act as an aromatase inhibitor, but anecdotally, YK11, from all the research that I've done on anecdotal reports online, YK11 also seems to act as an aromatase inhibitor. Now, is it the DHT? Is it the YK11? I'm not entirely sure. You see here that before and after there's a reduction in estradiol levels, even though my aromatizable compounds actually went up. I increased the testosterone, I increased the nandrolone, I increased the tristolone dosage, I added in the anadrol, which doesn't increase estradiol levels, but interacts with the estrogen receptors. Again, I wanted to grow the gyno as much as I could. So you would expect higher levels, which wasn't the case. And now after removing the DHT and the YK11, my estradiol is 130 picograms per milliliter on just 500 tests per week. So less aromatizing compounds, but higher estradiol levels. Again, it's all in without the use of an aromatase inhibitor, besides the zinc L-carnosine, which can act or can lower estradiol levels. Haven't taken any metformin for a long time. That can also lower estradiol levels. So again, I'll do some more extensive testing with the YK11, both oral and injectable, and then switch to follistatin in a upcoming experiment. But for now, it might mean that YK11 does have some aromatase inhibiting effects or estradiol lowering effects. I stopped the YK11 a couple weeks ago, and now my estradiol on less aromatizable compounds is actually higher. So my estradiol is 130 picograms per milliliter. How do I feel? My libido is great. My mood is great. My energy levels are great. I sleep well. My water retention is not abysmal now that I've fixed my diet. My gyno was growing. So I guess mission accomplished. Progesterone 0.16, so that's within normal parameters. Prolactin, not exorbitantly high. Again, my libido is absolutely great. Thyroid hormones, all normal, even though my thyroid stimulating hormone level is a little bit higher than before. But I skipped T4 for a while, and I removed the growth hormone, so you get less conversion of T4 into T3. Even though it's my free T3 and free T4, it's pretty normal, right? Where was it last time? No, last time was higher. Yeah, slightly higher. And TSH was lower. All right. Well, details, all in range. Insulin level is nice and low because I fasted for 4 days. DHA sulfate was a medium range because I didn't take any DHA supplements. Albumin slightly elevated, all right? And of course, testosterone is going to be off the scales because when you inject 500 milligrams testosterone per week, it's completely undetectable. And you would expect SHBG to be a little bit lower, maybe 25, 30, 40 nanomoles per liter, but with consecutive days of fasting, your sexual binding globulin levels actually go up. Now, that's not a very sustainable way to increase your sexual binding globulin, besides the, the tamoxifen or the roloxifene or the HCG, or bring your estradiol levels up, or HCG, did I mention that already? That's a more sustainable way. Well, not roloxifene and tamoxifen because that can cause blood clots, but increasing your estradiol levels and taking HCG and removing the DHT derivatives, that's a little bit more sustainable way to bring your SSBG levels up. But if you want to get it up super fast, fast for 5 days. Or remove all of the carbohydrates at least, because insulin is also known to lower your SHBG level. So low insulin state, ketogenic diet, carnivore diet, full fasting, that's a way to bring your SHBG up. And then, of course, after the fasting, if you switch into a ketogenic diet or carnivore diet, your SHBG levels should stay a little bit higher, and that might have a beneficial effect. Again, if your SHBG levels are chronically low. And hemoglobin A1C, I think the last time was 4. Last time it was 5, 4.5. Now it's 5, so that's pretty much the same. And then I checked all my cancer markers, which I do twice per year at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year. And the only thing that's elevated is my growth hormone level, 5 nanograms per milliliter. I didn't take any growth hormone. This is just natural growth hormone secretion. Now, as a bonus, this is my blood work results. As a bonus, I wanted to give you my wife's blood work results, which is very, very interesting. So she did it on the same day as I am. I thought she was 14 weeks pregnant, but we're already 17 weeks in. So her beta HCG levels at the maximum were like 125,000 milli-IUs per milliliter. Now it's about 60,000 milli-IUs per milliliter. If you compare that to our thyroid hormones are exactly normal, right? You see the thyroid stimulating hormone is 1.24. It's a little bit on the low end of the range. Before, I believe on her blood work results, before she was pregnant, her thyroid stimulating hormone hovered around 2, 2.5, sometimes 3 IUs per milliliter. So for all the guys that say that if you take injectable HCG, it's going to interact with your thyroid receptor and lower your thyroid stimulating hormone levels. Maybe if you're a pregnant woman, but if you take exogenous HCG, recombinant HCG, or urine purified HCG, it's not going to do anything, right? We speculated that from the animal studies, but if you want HCG to interact with your thyroid stimulating hormone and boost your metabolism, you need to be pregnant. You need to be pregnant first. So beta HCG is 60,000 milliamps per milliliter. Let's whip out the calculator. The highest I got on 1,000 IUs recombinant HCG the day before doing blood work was 27 milli-IUs per milliliter. So let's take 5,000 IUs, 585.9 divided by 27 times, yeah, you would need let's say 2.2 million IUs HCG to get a similar effect. Good luck with that. Cortisol levels are normal. Her estradiol, that was my goal, right? To get an estradiol level of 5,000 picograms per milliliter. So I would need to inject 2 million IUs, 2 million IUs of HCG to get that result, which would be absolutely insane, obviously. And guess what? Her libido is good. Her mood is good. Minimal water retention, no intestinal issues, no digestive issues. So having a high estradiol is not the end of the world, but obviously it's not sustainable because, having super high estradiol levels for longer periods of time might cause issues with clotting or gynecomastia in the case of men. In her case, the high estradiol and the increasing levels of progesterone and prolactin is her boobies have grown more than mine. To my great desire, my great pleasure. Very entertaining. A lot of motorboating is taking place in the household of the Vigorous crew. Too many details. The funny thing is, with a high estradiol like this and progesterone and testosterone, which you see is almost twice out of the reference range, and hers is usually around 65, 70, 75 nanograms per deciliter. My wife has a little bit higher than normal testosterone levels. Again, also good for the household and keeping your marriage intact. All right, job done every single night. With this high beta HCG levels, you see that our follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone levels are basically zero because she is pregnant. So what's the point of follicle stimulating hormone when your follicles don't need to work? There's no need for ovulation because you're pregnant, right? The ovaries or the uterus is busy growing another body within your body, right? Real bodybuilding, that is. So HCG levels took over. And then estradiol levels are sky high, progesterone levels sky high, prolactin sky high, testosterone sky high, and even growth hormone, twice as high as mine, 9 nanograms per milliliter. So that's almost at the top of the reference range for pregnancy. So yeah, she's doing pretty good, man. But SHBG, as a cruel joke of nature, SHBG is like 400. I think the highest I've ever gotten it was 150 after like 3 weeks of fasting 5 days per week, and then having 1 day for a refeed or 2 days for a refeed, excuse me. So all of that estradiol and testosterone is bound up. But so far so good. All right, I think that's the end of her results. These are the previous results of mine. Well, let's see. All right, that's about it. So we got it done in 1 hour. So going forward, I obviously need to make some changes to my diet, right? I'll use the food allergy test to eliminate all of the foods that were included that I have a very strong reaction or a strong reaction. I'm just going to take that out for 3 to 6 months and just make sure that my digestion is 100% intact. I'll take all of the peptides, again, to heal my intestinal tract and improve my digestion. I'll do the gynecomastia surgery next Tuesday, and then have a couple of days of downtime and just walk around with a harness that you need to walk around with to have everything nice and compressed. I'll give you a quick sample of the gyno. So this is the right side. You see it's this big. So I was able to grow it quite well. I think it was about this big before, and now it's this big. I'll do some before and after pictures. Don't worry. And I'll do some liposuction at the area because all of this is fat. And I was never able to get rid of that with dieting unless I was willing to sacrifice all of my legs and my back thickness and that kind of stuff. So this is just normal. Right? This is just normal skin. But here I always had some fat mass. So, well, since I'm old, well, not old, but since I'm not going to compete anyway, I'm just going to do some liposuction while I'm there. So I'm going to have the breast tissue removed at both sides. This side is not so bad. This is not as big as this side. So many nipple pinching. I hope you guys don't get horny. Leave that to me. But the breast, the fat tissue is pretty much the same on both sides. So they're going to make an incision here. Excuse all the zebra thing. I was trimming my armpit hair. So they're going to make an incision here and then do liposuction this entire area. That's difficult with the difference. So liposuction this entire area all the way down, or basically from here to here, till the chest stuff here. And then they're going to make a small incision underneath the nipple, remove the gynecomastia tissue, clean it all up, and do that on both sides. So yeah, that's going to be quite a brutal surgery. So I'll need to be completely bandaged up and super tight and all that kind of stuff. Basically, after being born, you know, similar setup where they wrap you in tight to make you reminisce that you're still in the womb, so you don't cry so hard. That's the way the Russians do it. They wrap their babies up super tight and then they're super, super quiet because I think they're in the womb again because of all of the compression. So I'll be under compression for at least 2 to 3 weeks and then I'll slowly start ramping things up again. So I won't be able to wear this, obviously. So I'll just wear a t-shirt for a bit. So I'm sorry the muscles are going to be hidden. I'm sure you guys can manage without the cannons for a while, even though the cannons are not very big anyway. So let's see, that's basically the gyno surgery. Then the Friday afterwards, I do LASIK eye surgery because I'm sick of using glasses. I've used glasses since I was 15 years old and my eyesight is getting worse. It seems, I noticed that for the last 2 years, these glasses give me perfect eyesight. But then again, when I did a preliminary test at the LASIK clinic, I saw that my eyesight was worse with these glasses compared to the testing results. So that was way more sharp. So I'll do another additional test there just to make sure that they get the details right. And then we're going to do some FemtoLASIK eye surgery after the gyno surgery because I won't be able to go to the gym for a while. I won't be able to ride a motorbike for a while. So I might as well do the FemtoLASIK eye surgery at the same time and get recovered from all of that in January and then get rid of it. Are you going to have rock one of those Chase's Gyno Survivor? That's a good idea. That's actually a fucking good idea. I might have to order like a couple of those and then then rock that because I know Chase chose a really nice fabric and he has bigger sizes, obviously. So you know what? I'm going to order like 5 of those express. Maybe I can get a discount. Yeah. He's going to fly. Let's do some questions at the same time. Flying to Europe for the surgery. No, I'm going to do it in Thailand. I found a very nice clinic that I already visited. Very good reviews. I know several people that went to that clinic. I'll mention the clinic after I'm done and I got a good response. And if I don't get a good response, I won't, or a good result, I won't mention the clinic. I can't say if I get a bad result, which clinic it was because of the defamation laws here in Thailand are so terrible. So I'll do it in Thailand. If it's a good result and I'm happy with how the surgery went and the aftercare, I'll mention the clinic. I'll let you guys know where I did it. I'll spend about $3,000, so about 92,000 baht, give or take. But again, my surgery is a little bit different because I need to do a good amount of liposuction and some skin tightening and, you know, a couple of extra things to make sure that it's nice. All right, let's scroll down over the questions and then we're going to wrap it up. Let me quickly check my my folder and my notes if there's anything else. No, we did everything. All right, good. I can do these lives more often. Did it like a pro. All right. Steve, can you get me pregnant? Let me run that past the wife. Let's save the way. Injectable Helios or glucagon into the gyno. Have some injectable Helios. I actually did injectable Helios here at the bottom, and that did help quite a bit for localized site or localized fat loss. And then, well, obviously went on holiday, and then all the fat came back. So I'm just going to get it surgically removed. Steve, you're huge. Yeah, that's what she said. Which one is Mount Doom? The one that I was posing in front of. Yeah, good stuff. Great vacation pick, Steve. How did the enhanced games meet up and talk go? Would have loved to be a fly on the wall for those conversations. Yeah, it was actually very interesting. Obviously, there were a lot of doctors there. I think I was the only one without a doctorate or a PhD, so I felt a little bit out of place, and I was the biggest guy there. Besides, well, there was one powerlifter who was pretty big. And what is it? Escalante was there. Guillermo Escalante was also a bodybuilder. And then Dr. Dean said Mart, obviously, but I felt a little bit out of place being so juiced up and without any fucking formal education that was applicable for that. I mean, I have a fucking bachelor's degree, and that's it. But I have the biggest YouTube channel, which actually got banned the morning of the seminar. So I wanted to say at the seminar, yeah, I have this YouTube channel where I talk about performance enhancing drugs, all the performance enhancing drugs that people take at the Olympics or potentially the enhanced games. Oof. It was gone. So I had zero accolades going in. But we had a great discussion. Yeah, they have to figure out a lot of different things. Obviously, where to host it from a legality perspective, which sports to include, if they want to do what they would consider healthy and safe, right? Because if you let athletes use whatever they want, some of them might overdo it and drug themselves to death. So there's a lot of big questions that still need to be answered, but we got a very good discussion going, and it was very promising. It was a lot of fun being there in the same room with so many like-minded people, doctors that are interested in this, people specialized in erythropoietin, for example, or gene therapy, or stem cells, or anti-aging. Yeah, it was really, really cool. So it's basically like the Swiss Symposium, but then really for well, enhancements at fitness. Let's see. All right, so we already said hi to Mr. Roman Fritz. A lot of questions that we should be answering on the Vigorous Q&A, so we'll save that for Saturday. Is enhanced lifting the same for cancer survivors? I don't know. I never coached cancer survivors. Yeah, sponsored by Pfizer. Sold all my fucking stock in December 2019 after I got those blood work results, and haven't looked back. So at least I made some money. Like all the hard examinations that I needed to do after getting two complimentary vaccines, getting fucking blue pilled by Pfizer. Um, yeah, at least selling the stock covered all of that, and I had some money left. Yeah. Let's see. Hey, Steve, have you noticed any change on your blood work after using insulin PP3 for a while? No, I haven't noticed that. Then again, I am always on polypharmacy, so it's hard to tell. No dramatic changes. Minimal water retention with 5K estradiol is very, very nice. It goes to show the importance of healthy diet and lifestyle. Yeah, yeah, I think also when you get older, you just hold less water on estradiol. It seems that it's mostly when your estradiol goes up when you're young, and then suddenly your body goes ballistic, and then you turn to a puffy mess. But as you get older, it seems that it's quite okay. That's why usually the TRT guys are like, "Yeah, just let your estradiol run wild. It doesn't affect your water retention and your libido. When you're young, it does. But when you're older, your body just responds differently. Maybe your estrogen receptors are just like, fuck you, dude. It doesn't matter how much estradiol is in the bloodstream. We're not going to let it attach, you know? All right, let's skip over a couple ones. Remember to like the video. Too much work. All right. How was your experience with running Superdrol for a few weeks before the Vegas trip? Any water retention? No, I got no water retention from Superdrol. Never got that. I just felt a little bit toxic, and because Superdrol always makes you feel toxic. It's like a 10-day love affair, and then the last 4 days you just feel ill. And I feel that the YK11 is actually a suitable replacement for Superdrol because the hardness, the density, the fullness, and the strength is pretty much the same. But YK11, I ran for 7 weeks, and my liver enzymes were still quite acceptable. I had 30 milligrams Superdrol, my liver enzymes are 130 to 150. On 30 milligrams YK11 plus 50 milligrams Anadrol 4 times per week, and the Superdrol was daily, liver enzymes were 70, right? As we saw from the blood work results. So you feel less ill, you look the same, and your blood work parameters are better. I would go with YK11. That's why we'll do another follow-up study comparing oral YK11 taken sublingually to injectable YK11. All right, the rest of the questions we'll just answer on the Vigorous Q&A. Any questions more about the blood work or gyno or holiday or anything else? And otherwise, we're going to throw in the towel because it's already been an hour. And but this is a lot more time efficient. I'll tell you that. Instead of preparing for a blood work video, doing like 2 hours of preparation, collecting all the data, which I still did for this video, and then recording, going through the painstaking process of recording and mispronouncing and just re-recording certain sentences, and then the editing process. This is a lot more time efficient. I saw Chase Irons do this many times where we just went over it on live, and I guess going forward we'll just do it live because this only cost me 2 or 3 hours instead of an entire fucking day. Mm-mm-mm. Always after vacation. Oh, Benjamin asks, always after vacation you fast. Yeah, on vacation I kind of eat like a fucking idiot, so then I have to fast. you know, dude, I'm so regimented when I'm back home. I'm so serious, and I cook all my meals. I don't really eat outside. I of course on Sunday I go out to dinner, but that's about it. And even then I'm quite selective on what I eat because I know Monday work starts again, and sometimes I record videos on Monday, so I don't want to be bloated. And but on holiday, man, I can't control myself. You go to New Zealand, you go to the grocery store, you see all these foods that you never see in Thailand or America or whatever. So I want to try this, I want to try that. Then you go to the bakery aisle, you see a rink, literally this size, and dude, I allow myself one thing, right, from every place that I visit. So if I go to a coffee shop, I'll have one thing. If I go to the grocery store, I'll have one thing on the spot. I go to the grocery store and I see in the bakery like a whole aisle with like little pastries and stuff, and I want to have a muffin, blueberry muffin with walnuts, or no, it was a carrot cake muffin with walnuts. Amazing, a little bit of glaze, dude. It was this big. It was like two fists. And I'm like, at least in Thailand, it's like small. It's like bite size, so you don't feel too guilty. But in the Western world, everything is just gigantic. And then when you see the people, obviously, you know why. Is the people that became fat first or the food that became gigantic first? Yeah, probably the same. So, um, so I have this. I've literally felt nauseous afterwards because there was so much food, and my mom told me never to throw away food. So if you buy some, that's why I don't buy too much because you have to finish it, right? So I buy this fucking carrot cake muffin that this fucking huge, and I'm eating that while we're traveling, while we're driving around in the middle of New Zealand. Oh man! And then by the time this fucking muffin was finished, we pull into some coffee shop, and then they had some brownie with like a layer of brownie and then a layer of caramel and a layer of chocolate with some more stuff on top. And yeah, it wasn't great. You missed my super. All right, what did I miss? Yeah, guys, this is for the Vigorous Q&A. This is what do you know about eight sleep? I don't know anything. I don't know what eight sleep is. So sorry. I don't know. Do you have a grounding thing for your bed? I don't know what the grounding thing for my bed is. Do you sleep with your head pointing south? No, because I'm not a faggot. So sorry, Mr. Super Chats, but again, this is for the Vigorous Q&A. If you guys have any questions about relevant to the topic, but I guess not. So yeah, After holiday, I need to fast because I eat like a butthole. Yeah, which always been doing, and I don't see a way around it unless even when I went to the United States, I shot retatrutide and tirzepatide all at the same time, and I still eat. I'm still fucking hungry. You know, I can control my diet back home, but as soon as I see food on holiday, game over, man. Game over. All right, let's wrap it up here. When is the Vigorous Q&A? This weekend, every Saturday, dude. Every Saturday. All right, so we'll see you there. Hope it was entertaining and insightful. This is basically the update for myself regarding the blood work results and the food allergy test. We're going to make some changes. Fingers crossed, I'm going to sort everything out. And then after the gyno surgery, we can go full steam ahead and gain some size because, well, 110 kilos is a little bit more. I'm on about 110 kilos now. 120 kilos was way too heavy. But if I can recomp around the 110 kilos, then I think it will be a much more pleasing physique than previously. Because when I look at those pictures in New Zealand, I'm obviously way too bulky. It's not very sexy. I'll tell you that. I feel a lot better now, though, losing so much weight and dealing with my intestinal issues. All right, guys, I'll see you Saturday. And until then, behave yourself. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which means you have a world of possibilities ahead of you. Take care.